Kevin Seitzer believes in revenge games as the Seattle Mariners launch a bunch of home runs to beat the Braves 10-2 in Truist Park on Saturday night. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And thank you to everybody for being here. I know once college football starts, a lot of folks kind of check out and go to football. We're glad you guys are here to talk about this game because Atlanta loses this one 10-2. Only 6 hits on offense, big home run by Matt Olson. We'll get to them in a minute. But I think the story of this game is just Atlanta, for the most part, John Brebbia kind of excluded, going with young pitching and most of them not being able to hang. Of all of the young pitchers you saw, Hurston Waldrep, I think, ends up having the best line. 2 runs on 2 hits across 5 innings, 5 walks to 5 strikeouts. Really was having trouble. It felt like putting some guys away. As he's gotten more tape in the majors, feels like teams are more aware of the splitter. And I do feel like since Seattle has some hitters that are used to seeing that splitter or seeing a similar splitter in spring training and all of that from Bryce Miller, that they perhaps weren't as susceptible to his splitter as a lot of other teams have been this year.
Yeah, this was an interesting game for Hurston Waldrep, one that I excited about. I mean, it's a 10-2 loss, but it's one of those situations where the Braves are out of it, but this was a game where I kind of got excited and got locked in to watch it, at least early on with Hurston Waldrep. And it was really that first inning for me where he had 0-2, Kyle Raleigh 0-2, and there were 4 straight splitters, and Raleigh just spit on all of them. And then you got to J-Rod 0-2, and then through 2 splitters, he fouled one, and then the next one he hit it out of the ballpark. And at that point, he and Sean Murphy have to know, okay, they know in 2-strike situations, they're sitting splitter. And it really looked like Mariners hitters, and I think this is the first time really we've seen it this year, where we've seen a team just really adjust to Waldrep in the game, and you've had to see him kind of adjust back. I mean, to this point, he's pretty much just been able to spam the splitter, and hitters haven't been able to really lay off of it or anything. And this game, he had to make the adjustment. And I felt like they did that. Now, later in the game, he just started to struggle with command and control a little bit and got away from him and all the walks. But early on in this game, I liked the fact that he was able to switch it up a little bit, and he and Sean Murphy both, and you saw him really go to that sinker. And I think that was a good pitch. You saw him lock up a couple of batters, spotting that sinker at the bottom of the zone, because early on, it just seemed like anything that started at the knees, they were just going to spit on. They were going to take because they knew it was probably a splitter that was going to drop out of the zone. That's where I've talked about in the past before. I need to see Waldrep throw that splitter in the zone for strikes. And I feel like he didn't do enough of that tonight. And Mariners hitters just said, okay, anything knees and down, we're just going to spit on it. And so I think he did a good job adjusting to throwing that sinker down. It was the second most used pitch tonight. That and the splitter were pretty much a little bit even, 28 sinkers, 34 splitters. Again, not a great outing by any means, but certainly one where he had to make an adjustment really for the first time since coming back up. And I thought he did that well and was able to get through 5 innings, just allowing those 2 runs in that first inning. And so I thought it was a big outing for Hurston Waldrep to have a team adjust to him like that. He adjusts mid-game and is able to fight through 5 innings. He had to throw a lot of pitches because he did lose control there and walk too many batters. But outside of that, I thought this was another impressive growing start for Hurston Waldrep.
Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing is in a normal season, right, where you're trying to win the division. Like normally we'd be counting down magic numbers right now. And instead we're counting down how many games until Atlanta's eliminated officially. You really don't have the ability to do things like this. And so I'm not going to call it a lost season, but in a season where the win-loss total does not matter, you have the ability to say, hey, we're going to run you out there and we're going to leave you out there and you're going to fight through this. You're going to figure it out. You're going to make those in-game adjustments. Sean Murphy's going to help you. Also had like the second pass ball of his season Really kind of really surprising pass ball. What didn't look to be that difficult. He tries to backhand it and just doesn't get it, which is kind of weird. But all in all, I felt good about the fact that this was a bad outing from him, and it was 2 runs over 5 innings. Because if you look at what he did last year, obviously those bad outings gave him an ERA over 12. So that's the growth that you're looking for. 1, specifically in what you said, but 2, just being able to get through the outing despite his stuff not necessarily working that well. Emmanuel in the chat, really good note here. Waldrep's bad start made me more confident that his improvement is real. Took his time, stayed calm, and bounced back every time. There's a really good kind of explanation from Emmanuel there about he was able to rally and, to Jake's point, make adjustments in the game. Some of the other relievers that Atlanta threw today really kind of struggled. Roldy Munoz, we saw him 1 strikeout, 2 walks. I'm kind of at the point of, like, I'm really glad he got his debut. It's almost like a Didier Fuentes situation. He's incredibly talented. The stuff moves like crazy. He's very clearly not yet ready for the majors. Now, obviously, since the win-loss record doesn't matter going forward the rest of this year, you can keep him up, but I wouldn't be shocked if they make a roster move and send him back down simply because he just didn't really look like he ever knew where the ball was going.
Yeah, and that's just kind of been the thing with Munoz. It's great stuff, but sometimes he just doesn't know where the ball is going. And that's where Sean Murphy got that pass ball, because Munoz was kind of all over the place and he just kind of lost it there for a moment. But I was glad to your point, I'm glad he got that situation again in a season that's kind of lost. I mean, the Braves are fighting for a spot here. I'm a little upset if they're bringing in a rookie with no command in the 6th inning of a tight ball game.
Yeah.
But, just where the Braves are, I'm good to see him get that opportunity in a tight game like that to see what he can do. Unfortunately, just all the young relievers failed tonight. It wasn't just Munoz. I mean, Daysbell wasn't good. Hayden Harris wasn't good.
That's where I was going.
So it was not just Munoz. None of the young relievers really impressed in this one, and they all got opportunities in a close ball game. Or I guess by the time Hayden came in, it had been broken up a little bit because of Daysbell. But yeah, I'm glad to see these guys get that opportunity. And Munoz was already on the 40-man, so might as well call him up, see what he can do here at the end of the year, because it is great stuff. And the Braves have done a great job in the past of helping, Hurston Waldrep, prime example of helping guys. I know maybe tonight not the best example because he walked 5 batters, but they have helped Hurston be able to throw more strikes. And if you can do that with a guy like Munoz, who his sinker is running 10 feet inside to righties and his slider is running 10 feet away from righties. I mean, it's ridiculous type of stuff. It's just maybe you only need it to run 5 feet. And I think it's like we talked about last time. Just start every baseball right down the middle and just let
set up middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And just let it go where it's going to go. So yeah, I was obviously disappointed with the results for those guys, but glad to see them getting those opportunities in those close situations. I talked about Daysbell when they called him back up. It's a big last month here for Daysbell. We were hoping coming into this year he would establish himself as a big arm that you could use as a setup guy. He was that for a little bit, but it's just been a really weird season because even when he was succeeding early on, he wasn't getting the strikeouts that you expect for a guy that throws, that hard. It has that big stuff. So a big, end of the month here for Daysbell and not off to a great start here.
Yeah. And I think one of the things for Daysbell is earlier in his career, he was a little bit lucky when it came to home runs, and that's definitely regressed now. So shout out to Matt Kreetzberg of Outfield Fly Rule for this note. In his first 55 appearances from July 2023 through August 15th, 2025, he allowed 0 home runs. In his last 2 appearances, he's allowed 3 home runs. And so like for Daysbell, that's a sign of a little bit of that, that just regression there with the homers but obviously it's been more than just that. It's been walks. It's been, just allowing contact in general and not getting the strikeouts to your point. All right. In just a second, I want to talk about the offense. Again, 6 hits. We saw Olsen hit a big home run. They pinch hit for Nacho Alvarez in this game. I think it might be the first time they've done that. We'll break that down next right here on the Braves Postcast. This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine or caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix gives you a discreet way to satisfy cravings and that hand-to-mouth habit without smoking. It can also be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. They're available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I've used the caffeine toothpicks for long drives. It gives me energy without me needing to constantly drink energy drinks or coffee or soda and the corresponding pit stops you have to make when you drink a bunch of liquid. They give me energy, and they've got some fantastic flavors. Everything from stuff like peppermint, watermelon ice to just kind of conventional things like bourbon flavored toothpicks, right? So go to Zippix Toothpicks, Zippix toothpicks.com. Use code Locked On for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning required. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code Locked On. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. The grape ginger and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite with a non-alcoholic boost. It's perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game, whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day. Because 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. And now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament, that's not the Masters, in the United States. So tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. So again, Jake, Braves only six hits in this one. One of those being a home run from Matt Olson. But bottom of the seventh, leading off, they pinch hit for Nacho Alvarez with Jake Fraley. And then Vidal Brujan obviously enters to play third base. I feel like I remember seeing him make a diving stop a little bit earlier in the game. Part of me wonders, was it some sort of injury thing there? And if it was, what is the grounds crew doing to cause 2 injuries to our third baseman in the same season? But I think it's the first time that we've seen Atlanta pinch hit for Nacho, especially given the fact that he's been better recently. I thought he was getting to the point of potentially being someone that you could actually count on offensively going forward. He had finally kind of gotten over that hump, but then they pinch hit for him tonight.
Yeah, it's almost like it was just a predetermined move by Brian Snitker because the Mariners go out and score 4 runs that inning. It's a 6-2 game. Like, why not just let the young kid hit at that point? We talked about bringing in all the young relievers just to see what they can do. I mean, you're clearly out of it. Why not let the young guy just hit unless you're just wanting to get Jake Fraley in at bat in this game and you felt like that was your opportunity to do it? That's the only reason I can. And like you said, unless there was some sort of injury there, that's the only thing that really makes sense is that it was just kind of a predetermined move. He wanted to get Jake Fraley in at bat, but I'd rather just see Nacho get those at bats in.
Yeah, especially when he goes 1 for 2 with a double in this one. It's the thing that I've noticed about Nacho is he's gotten incredibly comfortable just kind of shortening up the swing, shooting a ball the other way down the line. This one was the entire infield was, you can't shift, but they were kind of shaded over a little bit. A lot of room down the first base line. And he just kind of 3/4 swing, launches a ball, bouncing grounder down the line for a double. It feels, I mean, you had 6 hits. He had 1 of those and you took him out. Has to be something more to it. Predetermined injury, something like that. But outside of that, we saw kind of what we wanted in this game, right? We saw Drake Baldwin get a DH start. He gets a hit. He scores a run. We saw Ha-Sung Kim pick up 2 hits. Ronald struck out once, no hits. He did walk twice from the 6th spot in the order. I think the big thing that kind of stands out to me is 1, Baldwin getting the additional playing time. Not necessarily a thing that, we've been complaining about him not getting those DH starts. But then 2, the bottom part of your lineup still kind of struggling as far as Michael Harris goes 0 for 3. He doesn't strike out. He gets a sac fly. Sean Murphy goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Just, it feels like Atlanta can't get everybody going at the same time. And I don't know how many of these guys I should be concerned about and how many of these are just slumps. Like Ronald's clearly in a slump. I don't think he's healthy off the calf. Sean Murphy at this point, you have to be concerned. I mean, he's now hitting 199 on the season. I know he's a fantastic defender. He catches all of Waldrep's starts because he's really good at guiding them through these things. but offensively, you have to be worried about just how badly he's been performing for a month and a half now.
Yeah, you do. And it's a big decision in the offseason, what they're going to do with Sean Murphy. I mean, I've said in the past, I'm perfectly fine keeping both guys.
Same.
But I mean, it's been bad offensively. There's no way around it. I think for Michael Harris tonight, he had two really good swings. One, a great catch by J-Rod. The other one, the sack fly, just missed that. And those are generally when he's shooting balls in that left center field gap like that, it means that Michael Harris is close. So hopefully he's starting to come out of his little funk that he's been in here lately. Ronald, you mentioned it, no hits, but did walk twice. Saw somebody in the comment section talking about it too. Even though he did get the walks, there was many just 95, 97 mile per hour, fastballs in the zone that he's just still not hitting for whatever reason. And that's something that has to be figured out. He was struggling with that at the beginning of 2024 too, before the injury, and he came back this year, and I was pumped because very first pitch, he crushes middle fastball. And even the weeks after that, he was hitting those fastballs. And then ever since then, it just feels like he's still struggling to get to the fastball. And so that's got to be figured out for Ronald, whether it's mechanical or something going on there. Not worried about Ronald long-term, obviously. Batting him sixth, I know a lot of people are really upset with Snitker on that. I mean, that is surprising. You wonder, maybe you're sending a little bit of a message to him there. I don't know. I mean, I want Ronald batting in the first inning no matter what, but that's an odd move by Snitker to see him put him all the way down there to six like that. And I've advocated in the past before, play the guys that are hot. Ozzy's your best hitter right now. Put him three. And it feels like in the past, Snitker's been so slow to do that when guys are struggling to move them down. But he was willing to do it with Ronald tonight. Unfortunate the slump that he's in. Sean Murphy's in an awful slump. I mean, I could hit what he's hit, over the last couple of months, but it makes it a real interesting decision in the offseason.
If I can tell you how many, I haven't seen a team be completely unafraid of Ronald Acuna Jr., I think, since maybe his rookie year. He saw 21 pitches tonight. I just went and pulled all of them. 3 of them were non-fastballs. He saw.
That's what he's struggling with right now. I mean,
exactly.
I think that's what you have to throw him.
Yeah. He saw like 3 splitters, 1 called strike, 2 balls. Everything else was a 4-seamer until late. He did see 1 sinker and 2 cutters late. But of all of those 4-seam fastballs he saw, he fouled off 3 of them. He put exactly 1 into play, and it was 93 miles an hour. It's just, he is just struggling so bad right now.
Yeah, he's hitting 210 against 4-seamers this year with a 212 XBA and a 30% strikeout rate and 35% whiff rate.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. On your note of Michael Harris, by the way, those 2, he had 2 hard hit balls, 104 and 108, with expected batting averages of 850 and 650. So to your point, swings. He kind of got robbed a little bit. So, all right, Braves just decimated this one 10-2. And tomorrow's series finale, Luis Castillo versus Spencer Strider. I'm a little bit worried about what we've seen from Spencer Strider recently. The flip side of that is this game is at 12:05 Eastern on Roku. So it is a 9 a.m. game in the heads of the Seattle Mariners. You have to think Atlanta has a little bit of an advantage there. We will be back after that game to break down everything that happened before Atlanta hosts the Cubs on Monday. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. Words of affirmation for Jake makes him feel really good. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Falcons play tomorrow. Lots of content coming over there, whether it's Falcons, Hawks, and all of that. And then, of course, all of Jake's takes and content here on Locked On Braves. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.